So, this is an all ages, all levels class, but if it's your first time doing yoga, it, um, might be confusing. You might not get it the first time, and that's okay. So just, be patient and open-minded. To get started, though, I'm going to move back on my mat, and we're going to get started in a seat. So if you're on the floor, I'll go over a few positions. You could be kneeling on your shins, but sometimes that's a little bit too much on the knees. So you could be kneeling on the shins with the hips back on the heels, or you can kind of take this like cross-legged Indian style pose with the ankles crossed and the knees out to the side. And if that's still a little bit too much and uncomfortable on the knees, you can always just straighten your legs straight out in front of you and have a nice bend in the knees. So first, what I want you to do is just find a seat that feels comfortable on the floor, on a chair, whatever it is that's going to allow you to sit up a little bit taller. And then just for a moment, let the eyes float closed, or just soften your gaze. The hands can gently rest on the knees or thighs, palms up or down. From here, start to take your shoulders and roll them up towards your ears, and then let your shoulders roll down your back. So you're giving your ears some room to breathe, some space. And then see if you can sit up a little bit taller by lengthening the top of your head up towards the ceiling. And then just start to notice, how are you feeling in your physical body? Maybe you start to notice some spaces that feel a little tight or stuck where you could identify some aches and pains. But also notice where you're feeling open. So what parts of you are feeling good? And you're just observing. And start to connect a little bit more to the breath. So noticing the rhythm of the inhale and the exhale. Without trying to change it, just notice how the breath flows in and out. And now begin to shift your awareness to the mind. Observing the thoughts. Maybe the mind is wandering, full of chatter of what you have to do for the rest of the day or the week. That's totally normal. That's what the mind does. It thinks. And so you don't have to stop the thoughts. Oftentimes people think with yoga that you completely stop thinking, and that's just not true. But we work towards non-attachment to those thoughts or expectations or criticisms by continuously bringing our awareness back to the breath. So the invitation now and throughout the rest of this practice, as the mind wanders, come back to the breath. You can even say to yourself, I am inhaling, I am exhaling. And then one more space for inquiry. Start to check in with how you're feeling emotionally. Connecting to your heart space. How do you feel? And even if you can't land on a word or a phrase, just notice whatever feeling arises, so you don't have to label it. And we'll just be here for another moment. See if you can start to deepen the breath, taking a huge breath in, fill up your low belly like a balloon, and then let the breath expand into the ribs and the chest. And then exhale, release from the chest, ribs, and belly. We'll try that a few more rounds. Inhale, fill up the low belly. Let the breath expand into the ribs and the chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And from here, you can let the eyes float open. If your legs are crossed, start to extend them out in front of you and then move that fleshy part back out from underneath your sits bone so you can sit up a little bit taller. So you're going to find this little lean forward. And then inhale, sweep the arms all the way out to the side and up so you're reaching up towards the ceiling. And exhale, just gently start to fold forward towards the thighs. And the hands can just rest on either side of the legs on the mat. And once you've found your edge, somewhere where it feels like you can sustain it, take another deep breath in, find a little more length along the spine. And exhale, soften. You might even bring the chin to the chest so you're letting the upper neck round just a little bit. And take a full breath in here. And a full breath out. And slowly start to lift yourself back up. So walk the hands in towards you. And you're going to recross your legs once again or find that kneeling seat. Once you make your way there, inhale the arms out to the side and up. Connect the palms to touch. Exhale, hands connect, and then bring them to the center of your heart. And then we'll reverse that, keeping the palms together. Inhale, reach the arms up. So you're reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release the arms down at the side. Imagine though you were pushing the arms out as you lower down. And we'll try that a few more times. Inhale the arms out to the side and up. Connect the palms if you can. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release the arms down. One more full time through. Inhale out to the side and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Press the arms back up as you inhale. Exhale, let the arms float down at the side, and then keep the fingertips reaching down at the side. Start to draw the chin to the chest. And then from here, you're going to take a half neck circle. So start to draw the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And then once the ear comes towards the shoulder, pause. And so the left side of your neck will start to open up. See if you can let the top of the head soften a little bit and maybe tilt the chin up towards the ceiling. Just taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. And then release the chin back down to the chest so the head is coming back to center. And make it over to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. So you're drawing that half circle with the neck. And then pausing. Slightly tilt the chin up. See if you can let the crown of the head, so the top of your head, be a little heavier. And breathe into that space. And then release the neck back to center. And we're just going to find that half circle one more time on either side. So inhale to the right. Exhale, center. Inhale to the left. Exhale, chin to chest. Bring the head back to center one more time, and then stretch the legs out in front of you once again. Move the fleshy part out from underneath you, and we'll find that same fold forward. Inhale the arms out to the side and up. Exhale, fold forward. You're going to press the hips back as you bring the chest towards the thighs. Hands reach to the outer legs. Maybe you notice you were able to fold just a little bit more this time, even if it's just a millimeter. Soften the chest. Slowly start to lift yourself back up. Keep the legs stretched out in front of you. Inhale the arms out to the side and up. On an exhale, bring your right arm down to the side and then reach the left arm way up high. And then start to find this little reach over to the right. So the left arm is reaching over towards the right side. Once you're there, maybe walk the right fingertips out a little bit so you find more space to bend. And then roll the left shoulder back so the heart starts to spin open, or the chest starts to spin open towards the ceiling. Full breath in. And a full breath out. Make your way back to center so arms both reach up. And then take it over to the other side. Left fingertips come down. Right arm reaches up as you find length, and then side bend over to the left. So right arm is reaching to the left side, and you might even choose to walk the left fingertips out a little. See if you can roll the right shoulder back a little bit, lift the chest, and then press into the left hand to lift yourself back up, palms together. Exhale, hands to the center of your heart. Awesome. From here, we're going to transition to all fours. So find a bend in your knees, swing your legs to one side, and you're going to make your way into this tabletop position. So to get there, wrists will be under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and tops of the feet touching down. If you're in a chair or not on the floor, you can still find this movement from a seated position. So just listening to the cues of the spine, and then you'll be able to do that from a seat as well. On an inhale, soften the belly, drop the belly down towards the mat, tilt the tailbone, take a look up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulders back. So this is our cow pose. Exhale, pull the belly in, tuck the tailbone under, bring the chin into the chest, and round the spine like you were coming into this black hollowing cat shape. And then we'll flow that out a few more times. Inhale, soften the belly, tilt the tailbone, look up, roll back through the shoulders. Exhale, pull the belly in, tuck the tailbone, look back at your belly button for cat. And now just find a little movement on your own. And this could be where you start to sync breath to movement. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. You've got a few more rounds moving on your own. Finishing out whatever round you're at, make your way back to your neutral tabletop position. So what that looks like is your crown of your head's in line with your tailbone, and you're finding that flat back shape. Bring the knees out a little bit wider from here. Press the two big toes together, and then start to walk the hands back so that the hips start to come back towards the heels, and we're going to find child's pose. So in our child's pose, tailbone is rooting back to the heels, walking the arms forward once you can't sit back anymore, and then see if you can bring your forehead to rest between the arms on the mat. And this is a little bit of a deep stretch in the hips. If it's too intense, you can always lift the hips up a little bit more so you don't have to stretch all the way back. It's just an option. And as you settle here for a moment, I want you to think about that three-part breath that we were doing in centering. So taking a deep breath in, filling up the low belly and the ribs and the chest. And then exhale, chest, ribs, belly. See if you can soften into this shape a little more. Press into the hands, and you're going to lift yourself back to all fours. So finding tabletop. So it's this kind of neutral point that we use to get from pose to pose. And then we're going to make our way onto the belly. So start to walk the hands forward a little bit, and then lower yourself onto the belly however you need to get there. Once you do, you're going to take your forehead down to the mat and bring your hands under the shoulders to firm the ribs. Elbows are bent and pointing back. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat, even the outer edges of the pinky toes. Take a deep breath in, roll the shoulders back, and then just lift the chest a little bit, gaze slightly forward. So you're just finding this little back bend shape. Exhale, lower the forehead back down. And we'll try that 2 more times. Inhale, roll the shoulders, lift the chest, barely any weight in the hands. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up for cobra pose. So that's what you call this back bend. Exhale, lower. And then press back to all fours. So rooting through the hands. Send the hips back, bend the knees. And find that stable tabletop, wrists under shoulders, knees underneath hips, and we're going to take a few more rounds of cat and cow. Inhale to cow, low belly drops, tailbone lifts, gaze lifts. Exhale, pull the belly in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks under. One more round. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Make your way back to table, crown of the head in line with the tailbone. And I'm just going to give you an option as an alternative for a down dog because we're going to work our way towards a down dog shape. If that's too much in the shoulders, you can always just, from all fours, walk the arms forward and start to lower the chest down. So the hips are going to stay lifted over the knees. And this is a more modified version of a down dog. If you want to work towards a down dog, walk the hands back towards table, spread the fingers nice and wide, and then tuck under your toes. Start to stretch the hips up and back towards the ceiling. So you're finding this upside down V shape. And like I said, if this is too much in the shoulders, just return to that little puppy dog stretch. And it's basically the same thing. Try to bring your weight in between your index finger and thumb. And then have a nice, generous bend in the knees. So there's no need to work the heels down all the way to the mat. You're just straining the back of your legs, soften the knees. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Knees stay bent. Walk the hands back towards the feet. If you're in that puppy dog pose, you're going to make your way towards a standing shape, but keep the arms reaching down. So from here, bend the knees a lot, grab for opposite elbows. So you're standing now and you're folding over the legs, and see if you can bend your knees so much that your chest is resting on the tops of your thighs. So we call this ragdoll. And you might just find a little gentle sway from side to side or back and forth. And in this shape, you want to let the crown of the head, so the top of your head, drop towards the floor so the biceps, your inner arms, are framing your ears. And just a few more rocks and sways. All right, release the hands down. If they don't meet the floor, that's okay. Start to slide the hands up the shins and take a deep breath in. Once the crown of the head meets the tailbone, so like that tabletop shape, pause. Take another full breath in, press the tailbone back and the top of your head forward. And then exhale, bend the knees a lot, reach towards the floor again and fold yourself in. And we'll try that 2 more times. So inhale, lift halfway, hands to the fronts of the shins, slide them up your legs. Pause once you get to the top. Exhale, fold over the legs and bow in. One more time, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. All right. Keeping the arms at the sides, chin into the chest, slowly roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time, stacking slowly, head will come up last. So we're making our way into our mountain pose. To set up our mountain shape, bring the inner edges of your feet to touch, and then palms will face forward. Roll the shoulders down the back, and then let the eyes close or just soften the gaze. And see if you can find equal weight in all edges of the feet. So to do that, rock a little bit forward and back, so distributing the weight to the heels, and then to the balls of the feet, and then rock a little bit side to side. And you might even start to circle a little bit until you find this point of equilibrium where you feel balanced. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. You can close or open the eyes if they're closed. Take a deep breath in, sweep the arms out to the side and up, just like we did from our seated position, palms together. Exhale, hands connect to the center of your chest. Inhale, press the arms back up, just like we did from seated. Exhale, sweep the arms down at your side. And then we'll build on this a little bit, kind of integrating everything we've done. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and up, bring the palms together. Listening for the change, this time as you exhale, you're going to fold yourself all the way down. So find a soft bend in your knees, hands cut through the center of your body, and then you're going to fold yourself down, reaching all the way towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. So find the sliding of the fingers up the shins. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to come all the way back up to standing as you inhale. This time, sweep the arms out to the side as you come up. Bring the palms together so you're finding this tall mountain shape. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we're going to flow that out 2 more times. Palms together. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, release the arms at your side. Inhale, arms sweep out to the side and up, palms together. Exhale, standing forward fold, bend the knees, press the hips back, and try to keep a nice long spine as you lower. Nice bend in the knees, no need to lock the legs out as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold once again. One more time through. Inhale to tall mountain. So remember, you're coming up through standing, arms sweeping out to the side, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, press the arms up. Exhale, arms at the side. Last full time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Press the hips back. Try to lead with the chest as you fold over the legs, bowing all the way in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. Root through the feet. So find that connection of the feet as you lift yourself up. And then we'll seal that in for a moment. Bring your hands to heart center. Connect the thumbs to the chest and pause. And just notice, as you started to sync breath to movement, what happened. As the movement started to become a little bit more familiar, maybe you were able to connect a little bit deeper to how the body was feeling. Okay. So from here, I want you to come, if you're using a mat, come to the center of your mat. If you're not using a mat, that's okay. Just make sure you're positioned to see yourself or to see the camera. And you're going to take a nice wide stance. So you can heel toe the feet out or just step the feet out. And you want the stance to be a little bit wider than hips distance, maybe like, so find your hips distance stance and then heel toe the feet out like 2 or 3 more times. So right now the heels are aligned behind the toes and the toes are pointed forward. I want you to take your right foot and point it towards the back edge of your mat, or if you're not using a mat, just towards the right wall. And then bring your arms out to a T shape. So now your left foot is going to be still pointed to the side and your right toes are pointed forward. And then just see here, start to bend the right knee just a little bit, and then straighten the right leg. And just try bending and straightening. And so in this shape, this is called Warrior 2. Our hips are open. So our left hip is going to be pulling back, and our right hip is kind of working forward. And then I want you to settle in to the right knee if that feels okay. And it doesn't have to be really deep. This is where we start to work a little bit more strengthening in our yoga poses, so we didn't really quite get here last week. Look out over the right middle finger. You're probably going to start to feel a little sensation in your right quad. If it's too much, you can come out. From here, flip your right palm up to face the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Start to reach the right arm up to the ceiling and let your left arm relax down your left leg. So you're finding this little reach back as the right knee draws forward. This is called reverse warrior. Press into the feet, lift yourself up, straighten the right leg once again to give the leg a break. Arms can come back out to a T. We're going to come back to center. So point your right toes back to the front, and then we'll switch sides. Take your left toes, point them out to the front of the mat or the short edge, or just to the left wall, and then start to bend and straighten into the left knee. So sinking down into the left knee just a little bit, and then straightening and lifting. So as you find this little dynamic movement if the arms start to tire, because mine are, so I know that yours probably are. Feel free to let them go. Give the shoulders a little roll. That's okay. You don't have to be static. And then start to settle into the left knee. Left arm forward and right arm is back, and you're gazing out over the left middle finger. Strong warrior two. Flip the left palm up. Take a deep breath in. Reach the left arm up. Let the right arm relax down the right leg. Finding your reverse warrior as you reach up and back. This one always feels nice. Press into the feet to lift yourself back to center. Point the left toes forward once again, and then bring your hands to your heart. Pause for a moment. Let the shoulders relax. Maybe draw them up and then down. And then we'll work a fold in between our next set of postures. So bring your hands to your hips. Stand up nice and tall, so press the top of your head up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, start to fold forward. Think of that pressing back of the hips, so you can use your fingers to press the hips back, and you're drawing your chest towards your thighs, and maybe you can reach the hands down towards the floor. If you can't, that's okay. Just take your hands to your thighs or ankles or shins and start to find this variation of a wide-legged forward fold. Pressing the hips back, relaxing the head, soften the upper neck. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. You can walk the hands back up the legs or bring the hands back to the hips to lift yourself back up, and you're going to come back to center. We'll find a little bit more movement on the other side, so point your right toes to the right side of the mat once again. Keep the right leg straight this time. Bring your arms back out to that T shape. Listening here, take a deep breath in. Start to reach the right arm forward, so you're hinging yourself forward, pulling your left hip back. Once you can't reach forward anymore, carefully start to lower that right hand and just rest it on top of that right thigh or shin and reach the left arm up. So we call this triangle in yoga. And in this shape, you're thinking about stacking your hips and your shoulder. So in this shape, left hip is stacking over right, and left shoulder is stacking over right shoulder. And take a deep breath in. If you need to come out, and a full breath out. Press into the feet, lift yourself back up. And then we're going to take it back to a reverse triangle. So right palm flips up, left arm down the left leg, reach the right arm up and back. So you're keeping that right leg straight, pressing down through the right foot, and you're just finding this opening along the right side of your body. Press yourself upright. You can bring hands to heart just to transition. Point the right toes forward once again. And then shift your stance. Point the left toes to face the left side of your mat. Bring the arms out to that T shape. Look forward. Take a deep breath in. Start to reach your left fingertips as far forward as you can. Pull your right hip back. And then once you can't reach forward anymore, carefully release the left hand to the top of the left shin or thigh. Right arm's going to reach up. If you need to have a little soft bend in the knee, no problem. Soften the knee. There's no need to lock it out. And then think about how we did that in the side bend. So rolling the top shoulder back to help the chest open up a little more. And you can have the gaze down at the floor, maybe forward, or if it feels okay, in the neck at the upper hand. Okay, to release, press into the feet, lift yourself back up. Hands to heart, point the left toes forward. And we'll find that wide-legged fold one more time. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, press the hips back. Start to pull the chest forward and either take the hands to the floor underneath you or find hands resting on the outer edges of your legs, ankles, or feet. And just find this soft fold in. So bend the knees as much as you need. You don't want to feel any straining in the low back. And then soften the head a little bit. Full breath in. And the full breath out. Walk the hands up the legs or take the hands to the hips to lift yourself up. And then heel toe the feet in towards each other. So in a traditional yoga class, you kind of work on warming up on the floor, moving around the spine, working the standing postures for strength, and then there's always a little bit of balance. So we are going to work a balancing shape before we kind of take it back down to the floor. You're going to find your strong and stable mountain pose, and I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see me. So inner edges of the feet touching. If you're using a chair, you can always come behind the chair and bring your hands on the back of the chair for support. Otherwise, we'll start in mountain, hands at heart center. And just start to shift the weight into the right foot. So noticing how it feels to kind of support your weight a little bit more on the right side. And then with the right foot grounding down, peel the left foot off the mat. So the left knee is going to start to bend. Find a focal point out in front of you. If you're feeling a little wobbly here, this is going to be where you're going to stay. If you feel like you could challenge yourself a little more, left toes might leave the mat as you pull the knee into the chest. So finding this balancing mountain pose. Same option, hands could be grabbing chair and you could just be working this balance here. One more progression, if you want to take this a little bit more, start to send the left leg behind you. As the left leg comes behind you, you're going to hinge the upper body forward. And this could be where you're holding on to that chair as you send the leg back. And this is called Warrior 3. And just play. If you wobble and fall out, that's okay. You don't have to come into it super deep. You're just playing with it. Keep pressing the right foot down, left heel back, almost finding this T shape in the body. And then to release, I fell out of it. You're just going to bring the left foot to meet the right and come back to mountain pose. You can release the arms, shake it out, roll back through the shoulders, step the feet out. And then we'll try this on the other side. So you can stay where you're at. I'm just going to switch to see you, finding your mountain. Strong and stable stance. Shift the weight into the left foot this time. Peel the right foot off the mat. So you're just starting by lifting the heel. Find that focal point, something out in front of you that's not moving. Stay with it. Stay as you are, or start to lift the right foot so the right knee is going to draw into the chest. If this is where you want to be, stay here. Otherwise, if you want to balance, challenge a little bit more, start to press the right leg behind you. Keep it lifted. As the right leg presses back, the upper body is going to hinge forward. So you're working towards finding that capital T shape. And then just play. Stay for a little while if you can. And if you wobble and fall out, that's okay. And to release, press into the left foot, bring the right leg back to meet it. Awesome. All right, from here, inhale the arms out to the side and up, palms together. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Press the hips back. We've been here before, so you're coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, slide the fingers up the shin. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, bend the knees as much as you need. So bend the knees so that you can work the hands down towards the mat, and then walk the hands forward to down dog. If you're skipping down dog today and you don't want to get there, you're just going to make your way to all fours, maybe finding that puppy dog shape once again. So just make your way there. If you're in down dog, pause for a moment. And I just want you to notice any space that's been created. So maybe the side body feels a little different. Maybe you feel more space in the spine. Take a full breath in. And then lower the knees as you exhale, finding tabletop. Bring the knees out a little bit wider. Two big toes together. Returning to child's pose once again. Press the hips back to the heels. Walk the arms forward. Lower the forehead down. If the forehead doesn't come all the way down, maybe you take your fist and you stack one fist on top of the other and rest your forehead right there. And you've got a few breaths right as you are. And once again, you could even compare and contrast the shape. So noticing how this feels now compared to when we did it at the beginning of practice. And take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And carefully come on to the hands. You can start to walk the hands back in towards you to lift the chest. So you're kind of coming to this kneeling seat at the back of your mat, and then you're going to roll onto one hip and swing your legs off to the side. So you're just making your way into a seat. From here, bring the soles of the feet together. So legs are swinging out in front of you. Bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees come out wide. So we're finding this butterfly shape in the legs. You have some options with the arms. They can either just rest on the knees or shins, ankles, or if you feel like you have the space, you might even find this little interlace of the hands around the outer edges of your feet. You might need to walk the heels in a little bit. If you have that interlace, you could take the thumbs to the inner edges of the feet and sort of open up the feet like a little book, which is appropriate for library yoga. So wherever you're at, whether the hands are on the shins, ankles, or feet, roll the shoulders back, sit up a little taller. Feel the tailbone rooting down and your hips rooting down. You might start to move the knees a little bit, flapping them like a little butterfly. And you're more than welcome to stay lifted, or you can start to find a fold forward, finding a soft bend in the elbows as you pull the chest forward, bringing the forehead a little bit closer towards the feet. And you don't have to come down really far. This is a deep stretch in the low back and the hips. It's just an option to fold forward. You don't have to take it. You start to lift yourself back up. Release the arms, or release the hands from the shins, ankles, or feet, and then you're going to make your way onto your back. So to get there, bend both of your knees, plant your feet on the mat, take the hands behind the thighs, and slowly just start to lower yourself all the way down. You can bring the tailbone down, low back, mid back, upper back, until you're lying all the way down. Walk the heels in a little bit closer towards your glutes. Knees stay bent. Reach your arms at your side. Your fingertips are barely going to brush your heels. And we did work this shape at the beginning of class last time, but normally a yoga class ends with a little bit of back bending before you kind of rest for a moment. So to find a back bend, we're going to come into bridge, and you're going to start by pressing your arms down and your feet down. And then from pressing the arms and the feet down, start to lift the hips. So you're pressing down to lift the hips up. And then just come into this. You don't have to come into it really deep. Just finding an opening in the front of the hips and the legs. And once you feel like you found a sweet spot, just pause there for a moment. But you're not really resting. You're continuously rooting the feet and the arms down, and the glutes are a little bit engaged. And take another full breath in. And then carefully come out of it as carefully as you came into it, slowly lowering down the upper back, the mid back, and the low back. And give the knees a hug into the chest. Hands can come to the knees or shins, and just rock a little from side to side. Letting the legs stay as they are. Bring your arms out from the shoulders so you're finding that capital letter T shape once again. And then let those legs start to fall over to the right side of your mat. So right and left leg come all the way down. And from here, look at the left, or pay attention to the left shoulder. If you notice the left shoulder picking off the mat, that's okay, but see if you can relax it and let it come down a little bit more towards the floor, even if that means picking the knees up a little bit so that you're coming out of the twist. And taking those deep belly breaths, breathing against the compression of the spine in this shape. Make your way back to center, so roll onto your back knees, come back in towards the chest, and then take it over to the other side. Let the legs fall left, twisting in the opposite direction. Pay attention to the right shoulder. If it starts to pull up, come out of the twist just a little bit to release the right shoulder down. Try to soften. And even with the spine twisting, trying to continue to take those full deep breaths in and out. And bring the legs back to center. You can plant the feet. And then let your legs stretch all the way out. So you're finding this huge shape on your back, just lying down flat. Letting the legs separate out a little more. Bring your arms at your side, palms face open. If you're in a seat, maybe just let them close. Taking an opportunity to check in physically once again. Taking note if those physical pains or sensations or areas of discomfort are still there. Or maybe you found a little softening and release. Another opportunity to check in mentally and emotionally. Maybe you notice that you're a little calmer or a little bit more at ease. And notice that comes with the focus on the breath. That's what gives us that sensation of peacefulness. Just pause for a moment. And start to wiggle the fingers and toes just a little bit, gently awakening the body. You can spiral out the wrists and the ankles, maybe move the head from side to side. And then bend your knees and roll over onto your side so that you can press yourself up into a comfortable seat. And it can be any one of the seats that we did at the beginning of class, legs extended, crossed, or knees bent. And to close out our class, we'll start once again with our hands at heart center. So thumbs connect to the chest, palms together. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and up, bring the palms together up above. Exhale, hands to the center of your heart. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. It was absolutely my pleasure. Let me know if you have any questions now, later. I'd be more than happy to answer anything. Thank you.